I'm going to discuss exercises related to the lesson methods. This is our lesson number 2. In order to try these exercises, you should have followed lesson 1 and lesson 2. Okay, so let's look at the problem. Now it says, suppose you have to develop an information system for a food city. You have to develop an information system for a food city. Okay, for a food city, you have to develop an information system. Points are added to the customer depending on the purchases made. Now you know there are customers for this food city. Okay, so we maintain a variable called points, and depending on the purchases we add points to a customer. Okay, now based on the value of points we can group the customers into categories. Okay, that is the basic idea about the problem. Now let's look at part A. Now now you have to start Notepad. Okay, then part A says create a class called customer that includes attributes. These are the attributes with data types int, string, double respectively. Okay, in this Notepad let's create our class customer. Now int id, string name, double points, a string group, double avg. Now if you read these parameters, then before that let's save. Okay, let's save this. I'm going to save this inside the folder I have already created. Okay, double op folder. Here you have to select all files and you have to use the same name you have given to the class customer. Okay, that is customer dot java. Now you save your work. Now if you look at these attributes, you feel these 4 attributes will be instance attributes, and this is more probably a class attribute. Okay, but still we do not know. Therefore for the time being let's keep it as it is, and later if it needs we may change it. Okay, now let's go to part B. Include a constructor with parameters id and name. So customer int id, a string name, and here you can use this dot id to this dot id, you assign the value of id. This dot name, you assign the value of name. Okay, now you know this is a constructor because the name of the constructor is exactly similar to the class name, and this does not have a return type. Those are the 2 properties of a constructor. Okay, now let's move to Part C. Include another constructor to assign default values to the attributes. Now you know, if you look at this, we have included the constructor already. Therefore, default constructor is not created at this in this situation. Okay, default constructor means default constructor is created in the absence of user defined constructors. Now since we have added a constructor of our own, default constructor will not be created for this situation. Okay, default constructor compiler does not create default constructor at this time. Therefore, to have an alternative to the default constructor, we can create our own constructor, something like this. Okay, so we keep the braces empty, and now this constructor will do the same thing done by the default constructor. Okay, but this is not the default constructor. Okay, this is a user defined constructor. And the other thing I want to tell you, if you look at the two names, they are equal. Okay, this is called constructor overloading. Okay, with the same name we can have any number of constructors, and constructors are distinguished. If you take them along with the parameter list, we can distinguish each constructor. Okay, then let's go to part D. Include the method called addPoints, that is used to add a given amount to the value of the attribute points. Okay, so let's include that void add points double points. Okay, that is our parameter, and here to this dot points, this dot points, to the existing value we add points. Okay, that is how we can do that. Okay, now let's go to next part. Include a method called upgradePoints that is used to increase the value of the attribute points by a given percentage. Now let's include that method void upgrade points. Here you include double %, and now this dot points to this dot points, you to the existing value you can add this dot points into %. Okay, include a method called removePoints that is used to reduce a given amount from the value of the attribute points. If the resultant value is negative, then the value of the attribute should be set into 0. Now we include a method void removePoints. Here you include double points. Then we can use conditional logic. If this value is greater than the existing number of points, then in this situation what you should do? In this situation, points value is going to be negative. Okay, therefore we have to set it to 0. Now if it is not the case, else then what you should do is, else part here, this dot points minus points. Okay, in this way you can implement that. Then let's move to the next part. Include a method called compute group that assigns a value to the attribute group based on the value of the attribute points as given in the table. Okay, this is the table and there are 4 customer groups: silver customers, gold customers, platinum customers, diamond customers, like that. You have 4 groups. Therefore now let's include a method void compute group. We can use conditional logic. Okay, therefore if points less than 100, in that situation we have to assign to the group variable, we have to assign silver. Okay, and now else if, means now it comes here if points value is greater than or equal to 100. Therefore here we have to simply put points less than 500. In this situation group we assign gold. Okay, then else if points less than 2000, okay, there is a small mistake here. Here it should be less than or equal, and here it should be less than. Okay, small mistake is here. 500 greater than or equal to points less than 2000. It should be corrected like that, and the last this line should be corrected as 2000 greater than or equal to points. Okay, these 2 lines we have to correct it. And now in this situation, if points value is less than 2000, in that case we group this value platinum, Else means definitely, now if you use else, that means here less than. If this is not the case, okay, that means if points greater than or equal to 2000, it comes here. Okay, therefore in the else part you can simply write, you do not have to use if there. You can simply write group, to the group we assign diamond. Okay, now that is the answer for part G. Then let's move to the next part. Include a method called display to display the values of all the attributes of a customer object. Okay, now here we include void display then system.out.println. Here id, you can simply put id here because there is no any ambiguity. This way also correct, but this using this keyword is optional. So now let's copy this. Okay, let's copy this, and now okay, then this one name, points, group, and this one avg. Okay, now let's go to the next part. Include a static method called display avg to display the value of the attribute avg. A static method, that means that is a synonym to a class method. That means you have to use a static keyword to that. Okay, so here static void display avg, system out println. Here you have to put avg. Okay, here you have to put avg. Now let's move to the next part. The attribute avg should be assigned the average value of points of each customer. Okay, include the static method called calavg to calculate the value of the attribute avg. Now you have to, that means static method means you have to use a class method, static void calavg. Here you have to get the references as an array, so you can put it like this. Then you first you declare a variable of type int. Now we can use a for loop. I equals 0, I less than c dot length, I plus plus. Okay, here using a for loop. To the AVG, we add to the existing AVG plus c I dot points. Okay, this is to get the sum of all the points of the customers. Okay, now here you have to pass the set of as an array set of references to all the customer objects. Now using this for loop, you access points attribute of each of this customer object and we get the sum. Okay, now you know AVG that's default value is 0, therefore that is initially always 0. In this way we can get the sum, and now you have to divide that value from the number of customers. Okay, now let's move to the next part. Include a static method called getBest that returns the value of the attribute ID of the customer with the maximum number of points. Okay, so we need another class method static. We use a static keyword int because we return the value of the attribute ID. ID is an int, therefore we return int get best, and here also we have to pass the array of references to those customer objects. And now here we declare variable max, it is equal to 0, and now another variables you need later you are going to use this. Okay, we use a for loop, that is why we declared I to use in our for loop. I equals 0, I less than c dot length, I plus plus. Now if max value less than c I dot points, to the max value we assign ci I dot points. Okay, then after that n to the n we assign n equal n value of I to n, and here what we do is initially the max value is 0 and we use a for loop. If we found if the first value is greater than 0, Then we replace max value from that value and this n also by I. Again, if you move to the second value, now second value, if it is greater than max, again we do this. Likewise, we move through all true values of all the objects, and now we finally we will get to the value of n, we will get the index. Okay, so the index of the customer who has highest number of points. Now we have to return the ID, cn dot id. Okay, in that way this value you get it here and we return. Then that is we have finished creating our customer class. Okay, now it says part L, create the driver class called test that includes the main method. Definitely then class test will be our driver class, since we are going to include the main method inside this. Okay, now public static void main. Now if you look at main method, okay, you can see static keyword here. Now you should feel that main method is a class method. Okay, now you have, let's save it inside the same folder we had our customer.java file, and we have to use the same name, test.java, same as the class name. Okay, test.java, then you have to save. Then let's move to the next part. Create an array that holds 5 customer objects. Assign the objects given in the following table to each array element using the parameterized constructor. That means we had 2 constructors. In one constructor we that means we had 2 constructors. In one constructor we had parameters, in the other constructor parameter list was empty. Here parameterized constructor means the constructor with parameters. Therefore we have to assign each of the objects. Okay, now in order to do that, C naught before that customer C five and here to C naught we assign new customer one 5 4 3 comma Nimal. To C1 we assign this one, new customer 6561 6954 Kasun, okay, that is my name. C3 new uh, 3485 Nayana, okay, C4 new customer 8546 Kalpa, okay, Kalpa, and now we have created 5 objects, okay. Now let's move to the next part. Use the method add points to add following points respectively to each customer object created above. Okay, now here for C0 C0 dot add points, one to 9, 1 dot okay. In this way we have added the points given in this table, okay, for each of our custom objects. Now let's move to the next part, add extra 1000 points to the third customer using the method add points. Third customer means 1 2 3 Kasun, okay. So C2, that is our C2, okay, in our array. C2 dot add points, here you put 1000. Then next part, increase the points of the second customer by 2% using the method upgrade points. Now you have to second customer means our C1 in the array, no? C1 upgrade points to okay, in that way you can do that. Then still we have not compiled and run. Okay, let's move to the next part. Include a method called display to the class test that displays all the attributes of each customer. Each set of attributes should be separated by a sequence of dots. The part of expected output for the first customer is given below. Okay, in this way you should be able to display the details. That means all the attributes of the customers. Okay, now let's do that. We have to include a method called display to the class test. Okay, to our driver class we have to add that. Therefore here you can include let's do it as a class method. Therefore you create you use a static keyword because this is our driver class. Okay, so nowhere we are going to make instances from our driver class. Okay, this is where we have our main method. Therefore it's better we write this as a class method. Just display. Now you have to pass the customers as an array. Then you declare int I for I equals 0, I less than c dot length I plus plus. Okay, we use a for loop to access each customer object, and initially you have to use system dot out dot println. Here let's put a dotted line. Okay, this line. Okay, don't worry about the number of dots. Okay, you simply put that. Then after that println. Here you put customer. Okay, and to that concatenate here I plus 1. I is this begins with 0, no, but we have to always add 1. Okay, we say not the 0th customer, we begin with 0, we begin with 1, no, that is why I have added 1 to here. And then next one, here you can access ci.id. Okay, next one, ci.name. Points ci.points. Okay, in that way you can add these lines. And now let's move to the next part. Invoke the method display of the class test. In order to invoke it, you have to do it inside main method. Now we have created 5 objects. So display method, you can simply invoke it like this. Since we are working within the same class, you do not have to use the dot operator, because this method is also within the same class. Therefore you do not have to specify the class. You can simply use display, and here you have to pass C. Okay, this one. Now let's compile and run for the first time. You have to start command prompt. Okay, and now the other thing is you have to always be inside the folder. This is the folder where we have the two files we have created, and this link you have to copy and then compile. Okay, lot of errors we have got. Yes, first one, system. I have missed the S character there. Okay, that is the first error. Okay, then second line says error, non-static variable AVG cannot be referenced from a static context. Okay, that problem is actually now here I had told you in early situation just to forget that this is a class attribute. Okay, but now we feel we computed it, no? At some point we computed yes, inside here we computed the AVG value. Okay, therefore here now you can understand we used a class method. Now I have taught you in lesson 2 you cannot access instance attributes in within a class method. Okay, so that's why that error occurs. Actually, then you have to understand this one should be a class attribute. Okay, now again let's compile and run. Okay, successfully compiled, therefore Java test. We have got 1 2 3 4 5 the details of 5 customers. And now let's move to the next question. Compute the average of points using the method CalAVG. Okay, in order to do that, let's go to the driver class, and here CalAVG method is not inside the test class. Okay, therefore you have to use customer dot. Okay, and CalAVG method is a class method, therefore we can access it without creating an object. Okay, that can be executed class name dot customer dot CalAVG. Here you pass C, and in this situation we had not computed in early time, we had not computed value of the AVG, and you know now this is a class attribute, and therefore in every place it is default value we have, and now you also know that for all the objects there is one particular copy if it is a class attribute. Okay, now let's try to display again. Let's try to display the values after invoking CalAVG method. Let's again display the values. Okay, we compile, run. Now the average value, yes, average value has been computed. This one, and you can see in every place it has the same value. Okay, it begins from the customer 1. These are earlier details. Customer 1, this here, 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 and here you can see the same value. That means one copy is there for all the objects. Okay, then let's move to part T. Compute the group of each customer using the method compute group. You should use a loop. Okay, now in order to do that, first let's declare int okay. So now we use a loop to access each of the object, and now here you invoke ci dot compute group. For each object we execute this instance method. Okay, now again let's after the computation, okay, in early situation group was null. Okay, group was null, and now let's try to display after the computation. Let's try to display now. You can see the groups. Number of points 59. Okay, therefore silver. Number of points this much, therefore platinum. And number of points greater than or equal to 2000, therefore diamond. Okay, in that way you can see the results. Okay, then let's move to the next part. Again invoke the method display of the class. Again invoke the method display of the class test. Okay, that one you have already done. We have already done. Display the value of the attribute ID of the customer with the highest number of points using the method get best. Okay, now let's put a new line. because since the get best method is a class method, you have to access, you can access it class name dot then get best. Here you pass C. Okay, now let's again compile and run. This value, this is the ID of the customer who has the maximum number of highest number of points. Okay, so this is the ID. Now who is that? 6954. This one. Okay, Kasun is the one who has highest number of points. Okay, he is the best customer. Okay, so let's move to the next part. Invoke the method display AVG using each customer C0, C1, C2, C3, C4 as references. Now display AVG method is a class method because we had used a static keyword. Okay, now we have works to do. C0 dot display AVG. Okay, yes, before that let's use customer dot before that let's put a new line. Okay, so let's put a new line. We can easily differentiate now. Display VG, then here let's put this one. Now okay, now again compile and run. You can see same value. Okay, AVG value is this one. Whether you try to access it, customer dot display AVG, it displays this value, and whatever reference variable you use, whatever with respect to whatever object, you execute it, it focuses the same value because there is a single copy for that attribute. Okay, that is a class attribute. Okay, that's the reason. Now let's move to the next part. Now we have to create a reference variable. Before that, for a long time I have not been using the whiteboard, therefore let's use it. Now you know, we have the stack and heap. These are two parts of computer memory, and now we created an array. No, array zero, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, there were only 5 customers. No, 5 customers. There were only 5 customers. No, therefore now we have objects. No, 5 objects. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Objects are created on the heap, and now this one stores the memory location of this object, this one, this one, this one, and this one. Okay, now we have to create a reference variable called cust of type customer. Reference variable, now if you create such a variable, before we move, let's create that variable. Customer cust. Okay, when we do this, what happens? When we execute this line of code, what is going to happen? The cust, a variable, this variable is created on the stack. Okay, on the stack. Now let's move to the next part. Assign 5th customer object to the reference variable cust. You should use the object you have already created. 5th customer object means this one, memory location of this one, you should store it in cust variable. That's what you have been asked to do. Okay, then here let's do that. To cust, we assign C4. Okay, C4. That means value of C4 will be assigned to the variable cust. Here the value, this value will be assigned to this variable. That means this variable now is storing memory location of this one. Now this variable also is storing the memory location of our 5th object. This is our 5th object. fifth object. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5. Understood? Okay. Reduce 2000 points from the fifth customer using the method remove points. You should invoke the method using the reference variable cust. Now you use cust dot remove points here 2000. Here you have to add 2000. Okay. Then let's move to the next part. Invoke the method display of the class customer using the array element C4 to display the values of the attributes of the fifth customer. Then what we should do, C4 dot display. Okay, C4 dot display. Okay, now we invoked C4 dot display. Okay, then let's compile and run. We can see the details here. Here it has become 0. Okay, so if you look at our fifth customer, if you try to remove 2000, 2000 is greater than this value, no? Therefore points will be set to 0 according to the method. Okay, that's what has happened here. Okay. Now what I wanted to explain is we invoked remove points method using cust variable, but we access the same object, this one. Okay, therefore the points attribute in this object affects. Okay, and we displayed using this one, but the same object. Okay, so that's what you should understand. Then now you know, after removing this, definitely the group of this customer should change, no? Now points, number of points is 0. The group cannot be platinum. Okay, therefore to the C4 dot compute group, we have to compute the group, and now you can compute the group. Okay, so that's all you have to do for that question. Then we move to the okay, no, then update the group of the fifth customer invoking the method compute group. So we have done that. Then invoke the method calavg again to find the new average of points. Now the thing is, here we have changed the number of points in one particular customer, then the average should change, no? Therefore you have to do it by yourself. Okay, that's not happening automatically. You have to do it by yourself. Therefore customer dot calavg C, you pass C. Now after that, let's try to display again. Let's put a new line in order to separate properly. Then after that, this we invoke the display method in our test class. Okay, display C, this one. Here you can see now our new average value. Okay, then let's move to the next part. Create a customer object with default values to its attributes by using the appropriate constructor. The object should be assigned to the reference variable cust. Now what we do is to our cust variable we assign new customer. Okay, here we access customer, it is this one. Okay, this constructor we invoke that can assign default values to the attributes of the object it creates. Okay, that means now after execution of this line of code, okay, then an object will be created on the heap. Okay, this is our object and new object. Okay, this is the new object, and since we invoked this constructor, this is the constructor we invoked. Okay, by invoking this kind of a constructor, this will assign default values to the attributes. Okay, therefore for the attributes we have default values and we assign it to the cust variable, and here a variable can hold one value at a time. Therefore this now this stores the memory location of our new object. Okay, memory location of our new object. Then let's move to the next part. Copy the values of the attributes of the fourth customer to the corresponding attributes of the object pointed by the reference variable cust. Fourth customer is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our fourth customer. Okay. Therefore, now index 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. This is the index. Okay. Therefore, now cust.id, to the cust.id we have to assign c3.id. Okay, understood? For the cust.name you have to assign c3.name. For the cust.points we have to assign c here it should be points. Okay, cust.group here also c3.group, cust.avg here c3.avg. Okay, in this way we can copy the values of each attribute in this no, not in this one. Okay, sorry, not this one, our fourth object. Okay, these values of each attribute will be copied to the values of the attributes respectively, we assign it. Okay, now you can see these two are two different objects. Okay, two different objects, but for the attributes they have the same values. Okay, corresponding attributes have the same values. Okay, then we have asked in the next part, create another reference variable called cust1 of type customer. Then again another reference variable we have to create on the stack, that is cust1. Let's create it. Okay, now to the cust1 we assign, okay, no, that's the next. Yes, now let's this is the answer for this one. Then let's move to the next part. Assign the object. Okay, assign the object pointed by the reference variable cust to cust1 as well. Then to the cust1 you have to assign the object pointed by cust. Now in order to do this, to cust1 we assign cust. Now after execution, okay, after execution of this line of code, then to the cast one we assign the value of cast. Value of cast means the memory location of our new object. Now when we execute this line, to cast 1 we assign cast. That means this is the assignment operator in Java, no? Equal symbol, but it is the assignment operator, no? In your basic Java course you should have learned this, okay? Assignment operator. Now value of this one is, value of cast means the memory location of our new object that will be assigned to cast 1. Therefore now this one is also storing the memory location of our new object, okay? Then let's move to the next part. Delete the object pointed by the reference variable cast. What is the object referred by the variable cast? It is our this object. Now how many references are there for this object? 1 and 2. Okay, there are 2 reference variables storing the memory location of this object. Okay, so if you delete those references, okay, then Java will automatically delete this object from its memory. The reason is, in Java objects can exist as long as they have references. If they do not have references, then that objects will be automatically deleted from the memory by the Java compiler. Okay, that's what happens. Therefore now we have to do this for cast. We set it null. Execution of this code means we set cast to null. That means this will be erased. Now this is null. That means it's not storing anything. It is not storing anything. It has a null value. Okay, then still this object exists because it has this reference. You have to remove this reference as well. Then how can you do that? Very easy. As in previous situation, you have to set this one also to null. Okay, now okay, okay, then now you can see this object does not have any references. Now we cannot access, actually we cannot access the attributes of that object, no? Then why Java should keep it in that in memory? Okay, therefore Java compiler automatically deletes this object from its memory. Understood? This object will be automatically deleted by the Java compiler, because Java is not going to keep objects which does not have any references. Okay, that's what happens here. Then last line, execute the statement cast1.id to verify the deletion of the object. Then yes, system.out.println cast1.id. Let's try to display cast.id. Now it says, in the last line you can see it says exception in thread main, it has a problem. Okay, in the line 95. Now the reason is, now our cast1 is null, no? Cast1 is null, therefore it's not pointing to anywhere, therefore id is meaningless to this reference variable. That's why we get that error. Okay, and now that is the end of this exercise. Okay, and thank you for listening.